Good evening and welcome to the final public affairs program for QU Community College for the spring 2023 semester here. We'll still have an Auburn Large School District Forum in about a month, but we're having a special edition of Beyond the Front Page to talk about one of our favorite events that I think we have covered every year that they have done it for the last 7 or 8 years with the exception of COVID, but it is the Auburn Education Foundation's Hall of Distinction. This is an event that will be held on May 19th at the Hilton Garden Inn, and the group is recognizing 5 distinguished alumni from Auburn who have made their mark in this community, around the country, if not the world. As we've done each spring, as I've said, we've asked both Bonny, Blair, and Janie Hutchinson, the co-chairs of the event, to come in and talk about the 5 candidates and how you can participate, but we'll also talk a little bit about what they fund, because you will be surprised how much money they have given out and why. Just as a matter of disclosure, I want to let viewers know that I happen to be related to one of the award winners, the honorees. I'm extremely proud of him, but we do the show whether he was being given the award or not. So I wanted to say that for the record. Ladies, welcome back. It's great to see you. Happy spring.
Oh, thanks, Guy. For having us.
Yeah. So for the basics, I know we have done this, I think, 7 times. I looked at my question season. It looks like we've done this 7 times. What is the Auburn Education Foundation?
Well, the Auburn Education Foundation was founded to basically give grants, educated grants to teachers to fund special unique projects that the district could not fund due to budgetary constraints. And then the second component part was to do something for alumni, and this event, it takes care of that part.
And so part of the money that you'll raise at the Auburn Hilton Garden for the tickets and for the program book will go to grants. And how much have you given out?
We have given out close to, if not over, $340,000 total. And this school year alone, we've done $25,000.
And we're going to talk about some of those great programs. That's kind of how we're going to end. How long have you been in existence?
2003.
So your 20th anniversary doing this. And I know you have both sat on the board, but a number of community members, old teachers of, I should say old teachers, former teachers of mine. Sorry, Mr. Kennedy, I really apologize. I know Mr. Kennedy's on there, who I took at West when I was in middle school, but a lot of community people sit on the board, and you're an all-volunteer board. You don't have paid staff. Am I correct on this?
We don't have an executive director. It's completely volunteer.
Okay. So when is the event?
Friday, May 19th, and it starts in the morning when our honorees will go up to Auburn High School, and one of our community partners, Paul Del Piano, arranges for
former principal.
He
is like your utility player who is smart enough not to be on the board, but answers anytime you ladies call him to say, what do you need?
Plus, he has an incredible memory. Honestly, I think he remembers every student that ever crossed his path. And so he makes...
That can be good or bad.
True.
They're not on this other list we're talking about.
No, but he pairs each of the honorees with a group of students that would be best suited to hear their message, what they have to say. And it is my favorite part of the day.
So will all of the honorees be who are able to attend, and we'll get to that, will they all be invited to that? And then,
yes.
And then you take them to lunch?
Yes.
And then they have to be where at what time?
Then they have to be back at the Hilton Garden Inn. We usually suggest by 6:40 so that they're there before guests start arriving. It technically starts at 7 p.m., but a lot of guests arrive by 6:45.
And you've traditionally packed the room.
Yes.
It's a double wall room, and you've packed it. And
yes.
Family, friends, people who know these individuals, and just people who support Auburn Education Foundation.
Well, we have found there are community members who just love the event, and they always, because they think it's so inspirational to see.
It is great. I will tell you, the one that you did, I think last year, was one of the most powerful ones, and I guess I might fall in that category. I'm coming this year for a different reason, but in the past, you have just done a wonderful job because you have the nominees or somebody who's close to them. I know Mr. Cacciardi,
Yes.
again, another former principal, who have gone up there. I sat with Tom Champion, who's a teacher, our teacher, and one of his students. Yes, you know, and to see the look on his face as he was talked about, I think was the best. It was a terrifically great event.
Well, Brian Credatis' kindergarten teacher was the one who nominated him.
Yeah, so it's just great.
And she was there.
So people nominate individuals for this,
Yes.
and you have. I know we have 5 award winners. I'd like to go back by the closest to graduation and backwards. If you can tell us a little bit about each one. The first one I really enjoyed reading about. It's a playwright, and I know. Today is the 11th, and tomorrow in the Citizen, or this week in the Citizen, people can read fuller biographies about it. You've done 2 already.
Correct.
In fact, I think you're going in the reverse order that I am going in.
Yes.
So Philip Gregory Burke, class of 02, so relatively your youngest member in this particular class.
Right.
Who is he, and why are you recognizing him?
He is just a phenomenal. We were surprised because on his nomination form, it told about one play that he had written, Flutter, and that
so he's a playwright.
Yes,
he's
and an actor, and that was what we went on. And then I got his full biography when we asked him for his full biography. I mean, here's a young man, 2002. He graduated from Syracuse University with a BFA in drama from the College of Visual Performing Arts and a BS in sociology from the Maxwell School. At the same time. And then
he attended, wait to hear this, the Royal Conservatoire in Scotland, the Shakespeare's Globe in London, the Alexander Gibson School of Opera in Glasgow. And he's been a semifinalist for some very prestigious awards.
And so so in this particular case, having him as a younger person talking to students can be immensely inspirational.
Yes.
Right.
I have seen more ads for this person's old company. I know he's retired from the Lending Tree. But Neil Savage, class of 91, who I do know, is another nominee who is Neil Savage.
Oh my gosh.
You talked to him, Bonnie.
Well, I have had several conversations with Neil, and he wanted to make sure that people understood what this award means to him and how disappointed he is. But his most recent full-time job was as president and CEO of Lending Tree, and he retired because he discovered that he was just missing out too much on what his children were doing, especially now they're high school age. He has a son that's a very gifted, talented athlete and student, and he's like, I was determined, I'm not missing this. So he retired from that job, and he does a lot of other things in addition to that, but he sets his own schedule now. He doesn't have to be on the job all the time.
And I know while he cannot attend, 2 individuals from last year because of COVID and all couldn't attend, but they're coming back this year.
They're coming back too.
And who are they?
They're Dr. Mark Brown, dermatologist, renowned dermatologist who does an awful lot with the Mohs surgery procedure, and his wife, Dr. Susan Taylor Brown, who is equally renowned in the field of sociology, has just done
and so they were last year's, and they're going to be presented this year.
Yes, they're going to be presented this year. They will make remarks, and they're going to attend the high school in the morning and the luncheon.
And the Dr. Brown, the physician, he's recognized as being one of the key players to perfect the Mohs procedure, which is used for melanomas and other serious skin cancers.
So you've got those 2 doctors, but one person in this class, class of 77, most likely a doctor in a different way, physician, is Dr. Joseph Freeman, class of 77, who, well, I'll let you talk about him.
Well, he's remarkable as well because as he said to me, he's the 6th child born to Ted Sr. and Fannie Freeman of Auburn's founding Freeman family. So I think that's historically very interesting.
He held an interesting post, though. He was a coroner.
Oh, well, he was the first black person elected coroner where he is in Louisiana. But the other thing is he has headed up or been in the lead of hospitals, veterans hospitals, correctional facilities, just all different types of healthcare.
And now he's in charge of a clinic the heart clinic, and the purpose of that is to lessen the incidence of HIV. And the thing that was overriding in what he wrote to us was his feeling that any and all should receive the best of medical care.
So I just want to clarify, when you say he wrote to you, once individuals are nominated by other people, you do go back and you ask the award winners
Yes.
to write a biography.
Yes.
I've seen them, and you ask them to tell their side of the story.
Right.
In part. So those three we've just talked about, Mr. Burke, Neil Savage, Dr. Freeman, those will all be profiled this week in the Citizen.
Correct. Yes.
The last two award winners, one who was at Auburn High School when I was there many years ago, is Patricia Ryder, class of 74, and her specialty is special education.
One of her specialties.
One of her specialties.
Yeah.
But a very difficult subject in a time period where we did not put the emphasis and the resources into special education
Right.
in the 1970s and early 80s, not just in Auburn, I'm saying around the country.
Correct.
What I would say is she has lived her life with a passion for working with persons with special needs.
And inclusion, and making sure that just for her work at Camp
Columbus.
She was director of camp for over 30 years.
35 years.
35
she started
years.
when she was in the 10th grade as a volunteer,
In high
and
school.
then just continued and was the director
Just worked
in
it all the
addition
time.
to her teaching duties. And then she also was a huge advocate for the exchange program and led several groups to visit Russia and oversaw Russian students coming here to be a part of the exchange program.
And right now excuse me, I'm sorry.
That's
Right
okay.
now she continues. She's a consultant for Coffee Plus, which is a new local not-for-profit, which will provide job training skills to adults with special needs. Because the feeling is,
Right.
with the whole thing with the coffee cart, that one project, that there is not enough.
Well, we're going to talk about that in just a second.
opportunities.
Let's talk about your last honoree.
Let's talk about the last one.
He is Samuel Cosentino's grandfather, his claim to fame. Class of 50, Carmen S. Cosentino.
Correct. Well, everybody knows Carmen.
Is-
I mean, every time, all of us, there's not anyone who is not on this committee who has not run into either Carmen or someone else who has said, we're coming because of Carmen Cosentino.
I was out at dinner with my husband and ran into,
We got a couple minutes. Keep
Okay.
going. We'll go.
we ran into the Dickmans, the elder Dickmans.
Who were award winners before?
Yes, and they're like, oh, we're so excited that
Well, I will tell you that
Carmen's-
Carmen Cosentino is very excited, and he's more excited for one reason only. He's done all this stuff nationally and internationally, and to be recognized by his hometown, which I know comes up a lot,
It does.
is that
It does.
people get recognized around the country for their work, and you've had some wonderful, I think of the doctor in Rochester,
Right.
others, and to be recognized by your hometown, to say that there are people who value you here are there. So they are chosen by a committee.
yes.
Yes.
They will attend the event. How much does it cost to attend the event?
$35, and it is a heavy hors d'oeuvre and dessert reception with a cash bar. We have found that works out very well, because what people really want to do is circulate
They
and
want to
talk.
mingle.
Yeah.
So where
So-
can they buy tickets? Can they go online at the Auburn
They can
Education
go,
Foundation?
AuburnEdFoundation.org.
And you are putting a program book. I know the deadline for that is next Friday, the 21st.
Yes.
People can
For
take
ads.
it. And that all does this. Again, we're running out of time. I do want to talk about two great projects you've worked on. So you mentioned this coffee cart. So next door at the Auburn Junior High, there's a coffee cart. What is it?
It's where the special ed teacher has her class involved in doing everything business-wise and cooking and everything for setting up a little cafe in.
So they're doing the baking, they're
On
making
Fridays.
the coffee, and they're running the business.
They're running the business.
It's every Friday. They do the baking, they make the recipes, they do the shopping, they do everything.
So in essence, the district couldn't necessarily do this, but an Auburn Education Foundation can walk in there and help with this.
Correct.
You're also doing some stuff with coding. First of all, for those who don't know what coding is, what is coding?
Coding is
We had to read about it.
Read about it ourselves. It certainly wasn't in.
But this is
background.
the new technology, coding. We need to get
right where
kids
learn how to communicate with computers that communicate with other.
And so you
entities.
funded a project there that
Yes.
that may not have been able to be funded by the district.
Would not have been. It was an expensive project.
And the last one is you're buying mannequins for CPR, which I think I just thought about it, just the whole idea of getting junior high school students to know
Right.
how to use a CPR mannequin. How much does that cost?
The CPR mannequins was a relatively inexpensive one because they did the adult mannequins, the child mannequins, and the baby mannequins, and I think it was $715 to fund to the health classes so they could do their teaching of it. And they hope by the end of this school year, every 8th grader will know how to do CPR.
So again,
It's
go
an
ahead.
amazing life skill.
So this is important to know that you are raising this money that you will raise at the dinner, through the program book, through the tickets. This is how you pay for these things that necessarily are important to the community. They're value added items for the
Right.
district.
Correct.
Okay.
And it's to give every student extraordinary opportunities.
So again, just give the basic who, what, where, and when. The event is May 19th, Friday,
May 19th,
where?
at the Hilton Garden Inn.
$35 tickets.
Right.
Online, auburnedfoundation.org, or you can send a check to AEF P.O. Box 592.
Or send it
Here
to
in
the
August.
district office.
Yes.
They'll get you Lisa
Yes.
Green will find you.
Yes.
Starts at 7 p.m.
And it runs roughly about 2 hours.
About 2 hours.
I want to thank both Janie Hutchinson and Bonny Blair, co-chairs of this
Thank
event.
you.
It's very important. Again, this is great to talk about these honorees who've really made a difference in the community and around the country. We do encourage you to go to the Hilton Garden on May 19th. It is a great event and it's very inspirational. This is our last Beyond the Front Page show as the college heads into finals over the next several weeks. We will be back on May 9th for the Auburn Large School District Forum. Right now, there are 3 seats open. We know that 3 candidates have picked up petitions. We're expecting that maybe more will do so. On May 9th, Jeremy Boyer, the executive editor of The Citizen, will be asking the questions. I'll be moderating. We hope you will join us then. If you'd like to give us ideas for future shows or questions to ask guests, you can do so at cozguytho@aol.com. In the meantime, I'm Guy Cosentino for CU Community College. I want to thank you for watching. Have a great week and tune back in on May 9th or watch our shows online on YouTube.